What's up, Fixaholics? I am super excited today because I tried something for the very first time. I tried to re-caulk my entire bathtub all by myself. And I am super pleased to show you that this is what it looked like when I began. And here's my end product. Not too shabby for a first time, right? So it took me maybe close to an hour to do this. Here's all the stuff you're going to need. Plenty of paper towels, newborn caulking gun. This actually has quite a lot of thrust, which means you need to put lesser pressure and lesser effort. I actually was able to caulk with that gun single-handedly. So yeah, just with one hand. That's crazy. And then you're going to need a putty knife, some silicone tools that I bought online, which I'll link below. It's basically finishing tools for the caulk. Of course, a box cutter, and then a hair dryer. Yeah, I'll let you know why you need the hair dryer in just a bit. So that's all the stuff you're going to need. So the first thing I tried to do is remove the old caulking. Apparently, there's a tool to do this, which I found out about later. But the putty knife actually worked just fine. It does take a little bit, but it worked. And I realized that if you just applied a little bit of heat, I just used my hair dryer and put it on kind of high heat and use that and the putty knife together, and that actually resulted in a much faster removal of the caulking. There are parts where I use the box cutter to cut the silicone, and that cuts much more easily. And then I use the putty knife to remove it. So it actually sped up the process quite a lot. A little bit of patience. It's actually therapeutic after a certain point in time. So not complaining. Oh my God, this was the grossest thing I have ever seen. And I had mold for company all this while. Ew. Now, once you're done with all of that, I just used a Clorox wipe to wipe down the entire tub and let it dry fully before I started to caulk. Apparently, the silicone caulking, it doesn't stick if it's wet. So just make sure
So you
that
see that
it's absolutely bone
this
dry
surface
before you
which will
start to
need to
caulk.
be cooked.
But you can see that I've removed all of the
This is
previous
like
caulking. Now to prep the caulk gun, there are lots of schools of thought on this, but I basically used my how much of caulking I needed to leave, and it was about 8 mm. So I basically used that to measure the tip of my caulking
Yep.
tube, and then I basically cut it at a 90-degree angle versus a
Okay.
45-degree
And then
angle, and
now you have
that
it.
just worked really well for me.
Pretty cut.
Okay, as I start to caulk here, oh, I have to tell you the story. So I had
Tubes
two
of
previous
caulk that I
tubes
maybe bought like
6 months ago. So I cut the tip of that and I was getting ready to caulk,
it was
and
fully
it
solid
never came out.
inside.
And
And
what I didn't realize is that
is the
most
consistency of
caulking
toothpaste.
Then I actually went to Ace Hardware and then bought myself the caulk as well as the caulking gun, and then came back to continue my project. So I just tried to do a nice, smooth, slow line across. And then once I did that, I went ahead and used the finishing tool. I used the 8 mm side, which gives me enough coverage for my tub. I also noticed that if you start from the edge and go outward and you do small sections at a time, it actually results in a much smoother finish. So here it is. You'll see me go both ways. And then I go ahead and use the finishing tool to finish that up on both sides. So this is to kind of wipe off all of the excess onto just the paper towel.
Like that.
And mind you, I'm doing all this with one hand here because the other hand is holding the phone. So this is me single-handedly caulking my bathtub just for you guys. Not bad, eh? Look at that. You'll notice some excess caulking on the sides, and I use this yellow scraping tool to go very, very carefully on the outer edges to remove the excess. Then once I was all done, I basically brought my favorite tool in, my mini shop vac, and I vacuumed all of that old caulking out of the tub. And even though it says it'll be ready in 30 minutes, I am not too sure about that. I'm actually going to give it a full day before I let my kids jump into this tub again. Join the community. We are the Fixaholics, and we save money one fix at a time.